Welcome everyone to Oneness Talk Radio and Intuitive You. We are so happy you're here, and I'm just feeling so blessed to be in the presence of somebody so dear to my heart, and she is our surprise guest for this morning because I didn't want to tell you who she was yet because I wanted to introduce her as really what she means to me. So this woman has such a deep embodiment of love, and the moment I met her, I'm like, man, you got to be a coach. You are so good. And then I find like she has this amazing skincare business, and she's just, once you meet her, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. She has a presence that just makes you feel at ease. And I feel like that's one of the ways that we can connect with our intuition, is to be in that relaxed state of ease and grace, because our intuition is constantly giving us the answer. So it's really about us being quiet enough to receive it and listening. And that's why we have this show, right? Is we're able to listen to our intuitions and truly heal and create lives we love. So an example of that is this woman named Lori Wacom, and she has been, we've known each other for over a year now. She'll share a little bit more about her, what she wants to share, because I really didn't ask too much permission for what I can share about her, but she is just such a light and truly an example of glowing from the inside out. So Lori, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Abby. I'm so glad to be here. And what a beautiful introduction. But I have to say, I feel the same way about you. You have such a loving, giving, genuine presence, and just bring like peace whenever I'm with you, although we've never actually met in person. But
right? Oh my goodness.
No, isn't that crazy?
Goodness.
But thank you.
You're welcome. So what got you on the path of following your intuition?
Gosh, I would say, honestly, it started as a young kid. It was something that I don't think I was fully aware of. It was just like this inner feeling of knowing. And I almost felt like it was normal to feel that way, which, it really should be normal, but we don't necessarily realize that. So, and we don't necessarily know when we're getting this intuitive guidance. But as a child, I just, I'm trying to think of some examples. I know in my early 20s, there was a house. I was in a car accident. And so I had some in money from it because there was some injuries, and I wanted to use that money for something that would be like help me long term. And so I was, oddly enough, in my early 20s, I was looking at houses, and there was this one particular fixer upper, and I knew it was mine, like just in my heart and soul. And I didn't end up getting it, which shocked me. It absolutely shocked me. Somebody else bid higher. And so that for me was kind of like, oh, okay, this inner knowing I've been following doesn't work, But 6 months later, that house was mine. So that was just such a good validation for just believing in that knowing that you have in your heart. And that's where it really came from.
Yeah, sometimes it's knowing, and it's the timing. It's always knowing, but it's the timing, and it's that patience, right? Of just like, okay, I know that this is going to manifest at the time that it's meant to manifest. And I know, we really, this particular episode is really about how to follow your intuition. So how do you feel you were able to follow it? Was there a way that you connected with it and knew that it was your intuition, or what was your process of connecting with that knowing?
When I was younger, it's interesting because when I was younger, it came to me much more naturally. Well, it still does, but I think as I got older and more stress came into my life, I allowed it into my life. I got busy working full time, putting myself through school. I no longer gave myself that time to just sit back and relax and listen and trust in yourself.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere along the line, I lost that. So originally, it was just something that happened naturally to me. And over the years, I lost that feeling. And so about, I'd say 10, 15 years ago, I started kind of sitting with myself again and just really not quite meditating, but just listening to asking certain questions and just really listening and being open to what answers came to me, whether they came in my own words or symbols. To be honest, for me, it's always words in my own voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and just learning to trust that again. In my adult life, have been known for just not trusting what comes to me, like questioning everything.
I think you trust it. In my experience knowing you, you trust it. Maybe before you met me, but I've always known you to actually listen and receive it and take the action. And that's one of the things I love about you is it's like, even if you do have that doubt kind of in the back of your mind, deep down you have that knowing. And it's taking that action that has really allowed you to create amazing results in your life. Like, I mean, I would love for you to share some of the results because I think it's just so amazing. And that's really why one of the reasons I teach intuition is it's also so practical. Like it is very spiritual and it opens you up, to the infinite capacity of the universe. And it's also very physically grounded in reality, like practical steps, to monetize your gifts and be happy and all these great things. So I would love for you to share some examples of you doing that.
Yes. And I'd want to mention that, yes, I believe one of the things I love about, working with you is that you have made me realize that all this time I really have been following my inner guidance without really realizing it. I've been allowing myself to be busy and not feeling grounded.
Yeah.
Yet I have been following it, and you've kind of brought that back to my attention, and that's what I love. But to answer your question, let's see. I would say, so many things that have come to me in the last year as a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things is, let's see, I did a health and wellness summit in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the past, before working with you, I probably that lack of trust in myself would have prevented me from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But after working with you and just, getting back more into my intuition and just trusting, like that's really what it comes down to, trusting ourselves and knowing our worth and believing it to our core. Mm-hmm. And so that's Radiant Health Summit. I just, like, I knew in my heart it was right and it felt good. So when it feels good and it doesn't feel yucky.
Yeah.
And there's a little difference between being a little scared to do something just because it's new and out of the box, but actually feeling that yuckiness that really makes you feel like, oh, this doesn't feel right. It's not good. Right. Then that kind of lets me know this is not the path to travel.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah, so when I feel that way, I don't make those decisions or those choices. But like with the summit, it felt good. It was a little scary, like,
right.
But I went for it because it felt right.
Yeah. And it's so simple, but when you're feeling good, you're following your intuition. Like that is the path. It's really simple, Is it okay if I share a little bit more just about us working together?
Yes, absolutely.
So, I just remember, you did the full year-long intuitive success, and it was like within the first 4 months, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit longer, but within that, you're like, hey, I got 4 times the amount that I do in your skincare company, which was just so amazing because you moved your energy into a place of alignment where you were able to manifest what it is that you wanted. So that's what I love the power, because this is where that knowing, it's actually beyond what your mind can comprehend sometimes. So that just guides you. It's that wisdom. And then when you take action on it, you're like, oh, I just made all this money. I have all this peace, whatever result is. Lately, a lot of clients are finding their soulmates, but it's like, for you, it was really about growing your companies, and starting your practice and helping people. And you do it with such a radiance, that's what I wanted to bring you on, because you have just that glow from the inside out. And so, by the way, if anybody wants to have amazing skin, go to Lori, because she's like an expert at it. It's just incredible. And she can tell you more about it in her consultations. And she does it all over. So no matter where you're at, you can contact her. And then just the coaching piece and the income piece, it was like that that courage that you had to trust your knowing, and I watch people, like, when they get the knowing, they're like, yep, I need to do it. Like, miracles just start happening. So, what allowed you to trust yourself? Like, what was that tipping point where you're like, I kind of feel it, but I'm definitely going to trust it, like both feet in? Like, what gave you that? And then maybe any other listeners to really fully trust their intuition? Like, what can give them that, like, oomph to fully trust?
That's a really good question, because that's kind of the one thing that I had been struggling with for years until I started working with you. And I just real quick, I just want to mention that the income, the sales volume that changed for me was really pivotal. 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 That's what I'm trying to say. Because I really think so much of that did have to do with, like you said, just shifting that energy. And that made such a huge difference for me. And I think in shifting that energy, that is kind of when I just really started to, like you said, just sit in that power of knowing, of trusting that inner wisdom. And I'm trying to think if there was one specific way. Honestly, just working with you has really helped. But
You know what, Laura? I feel like it was, you trusted your intuition, and then what happened is we shift your belief in yourself and beliefs about yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest thing with the intuitive success coaching process is it brings your mind, your beliefs about yourself in alignment with your intuition, which is your soul that has this infinite love and knowing that you're amazing and can create what you want, right? So it's getting your, like, beliefs on board, and you were like, yeah, I know I can do this. Yeah, I know I'm worth it. You're right. And it was just kind of like, innately, we all know that at our deepest core, but to actually get the programming, which is really just a thought and an emotion connected, creates a belief, and that's a nervous system response to every cell of your body. So it's like, I remember clearly, and I think, that is the value of having a coach or a friend or somebody that can see you, is we see each other in our greatness, right? And it's like, it kind of takes you to that next level. So I was holding that for you because I already saw it, and then you saw it. And if anybody goes on the Life Force Connection site, you can click on, I think it says NLP Factor, and there's a picture of, I think, a cat that's looking at himself, and he sees a lion in a mirror. So it basically shows you how you perceive yourself is how you're seeing reality. So when you see yourself as powerful and confident, you actually become that because you already are that. You're just moving into that alignment of, you could say, like, the highest potential, that you have. Did you want to add to that?
yeah, well, I think you said that so beautifully, and that is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And just as an example, when I was starting my summit and I was doing the interviewing, it was about the other person, but I was still nervous. I was still like, but, so many months later, I think it's probably 8 months later. I'm not quite sure where we're at, but in terms, but I think about that long ago. So now here we are, and we were talking before this interview, and I was almost surprised to realize I wasn't nervous. And I think something that's like has shifted for me as well is I used to always be in my head. So I'm always like thinking a little self-conscious. I was a little self-conscious and kind of thinking more about, okay, how am I going to be perceived? What are people going to think? Are people going to trust me? I was more in my head. And you've really taught me to drop into my heart. And at first it was like doing those interviews. It was a little difficult for me to just drop from my head to my heart because I've been in my head for years.
Yeah.
And so now I really do. I mean, I've always wanted to come from a place from my heart, but it's, for me, in the past, it wasn't as easy. And now it is almost just a natural, just sitting here in my heart, speaking from my heart, and not worrying about, what are other people thinking? Or is anyone judging me? Or, like you said, I just have this belief, this trust in my abilities, trust in the universe, trust you, of course, as always, but just this trust. And I think a lot of that did come from me getting out of my head.
Yeah.
which was huge for me.
I love that you said that. And I swear this is why I do this work, because it reminds me to like continue practicing what I preach, but it really is the heart. Like when you said that, because, I started speaking when I was like 19, and it's like, if I was to think about it, like my clients were like 2 or 3 times my age, and I would be like, oh my God, and it was like the only way I could do it was just drop into my heart, and I connected with their heart. So just like we all are on this show right now, those of us listening, I'm listening to myself, you listening to Lori and I, as you feel our hearts and we feel your hearts, you can even feel in that moment. I know for me, I just felt this peace, because the moment we connect to each other's hearts, we connect to love. And there's like this peace, be still feeling. And that is what makes it easy to trust. And then what happens is your mind gets on board with your heart, and it's led obviously by your heart, and the words just come. So in this moment, like I'm not thinking, I'm connected. It's like the life force connection is flowing through me, where in my work, like I'm a channel for the divine. Lori's a channel. Everybody's a channel for the divine. And so it's like the heart is the foundation. And then the next step, because I promised everyone I would tell them how to connect to their intuition, it's dropping into your gut. So after you're connected to your heart, you move to your gut a couple inches below your belly button to that knowing that Lori was talking about. And you can literally feel a pull towards something or a move away towards something. That gut feeling, that knowing, to me is like the truth within you. So it's like you already know the answer. So the theory that I actually left college with, I believed so strongly, was that we have our own answers. So, when people were coming into my office at, 19, it was like, I just knew they knew the answer anyways. Like I would see things for them, but I would hold the space and I'd help them clear their blocks to what they already knew. So if we can do that, and Lori's fabulous at this. I mean, as a coach, she's amazing, and she's now certified as an intuitive success coach. Like I highly recommend booking an intro with her, because she's so clear. Like her intuition provides a clear channel, and then she knows how to clear those blocks, and she's done it. She's living it. And so, the other thing is, if you're just wanting to grow your income for a current business, she can help you with that, and then, oh my God, the radiance of your health. It's just hitting those emotional pieces, as well as the physical, what you can do for that. But yeah, is there anything you want to add to that, Lori?
No, thank you. I appreciate that. And I am a radiant health coach and intuitive success coach. I do believe that health starts from the inside out. And I do work with you on just like you had said earlier, Abby, just clearing those blocks and creating a life that you love, and just working. I so believe that such a huge part of radiant health starts with the foundation of trusting ourselves, trusting our inner wisdom, believing in ourselves, and I work with you to get through those blocks, like you had said.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Just the presence of love that you hold too. So I'm wondering if there's any other examples you want to share in your own life of, how you've been following your intuition with your children, and just being an amazing wife and mother, and just how it really encompasses all areas of life, right? It's not just money, it's everything. It's relationships, how you deal, just in general.
It is. You're right, and it's so interesting you asked that, because I'm noticing that I am pretty much with everything, every decision, I am starting to really just drop into my heart and then my gut, and really feel what the right decision is, what the right choice is. So you're right. I do that with my marriage, my children, in talking with them and deciding how to maybe talk to them about certain discussions, especially the ones that might be a little bit more difficult. I'm learning to trust my inner guidance about that. And I would say, something even like buying a card. I was buying a card at the store, and my first thought was, okay, this, I like it, but I'm not sure. So then I would have just bought it.
Yeah.
But this time I thought, okay, let's really think about this for a minute, or not think, but let's drop into our heart
Yeah.
and our gut. And I really gave it some time. And when I say some time, I mean, really, it doesn't take that long at all, but it was enough for me to intuitively decide, is this card what I really want to give to this person? Because it needed to be a special card. And so that's why I wanted to use my intuition for it.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love doing that. Like, I have a post box for the business and myself, and I love the people that work there. And one day I was like, I just want to get them a card. And so I was just like popped out. It was just like this like flow of love, right? And they were just like, oh my God, thank you so much. It's like the little things that become the big things because they're done with so much love. And I feel like it's the intention. I studied a lot with Sonia Choquette when I first opened my practice. And she says in her book, I think it's The Heart's Desire, that love is the food of the universe. And it's also the best marketing tool. And I swear to God, that's what I've used. Like, I just have felt like so much love, and then had the right people and mentors and clients that get to come in. And it's from that place of love of your heart. And it literally moves through people, and they're aware of it, but it's almost like bigger than us all. It's just moving through us all. And to me, that is the life force energy. So it's like, for everybody listening, what is moving you and inspiring you? Like, where is your heart just like saying, hey, I actually really like to do that. I feel inspired to like get this card for this person, or, take this walk on this beach or this trail, or go to the park or whatever. Let yourself move into that higher frequency of love, because that is where creation is born. And I mean, really, you think about children, right? Like, they're born from love. Like, it's like everything really, truly that's sustainable. And love never ends, right? It's the foundation, and it's infinite. And so when you connect to that within you, you're activating your life force, you're activating your intuition, and you're interconnected to all of life. And then you know how to get on purpose, right? Because it's like your heart is guiding you, your intuition is telling you, and it's like, oh my God, this feels amazing. Like, I'm living my dreams. Like, Laura, you're like, I have these amazing kids and I have this great business, and yeah, I'm really busy, but like, I have an amazing life, It's just, right? Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, it's so true. And I listened to your interview last week, and the speaker made a comment that I so resonate with, because I so believe, like, if we start in a place of gratitude and love, I mean, that's really just where it starts with. And love, you're so right. I can remember it, I don't know exactly what I was doing, but it was a few months ago, and I thought of you. I think I was feeling stressed about something, and the reason I thought of you is because because you come from such a place of love, and you've talked to me about that, and it's so true. Once we drop into our heart and just come from a place of love, it's like when you take that deep breath, and you can feel your body starting to get more peaceful and just more relaxed. Same thing when you come from a place of love. And I remember doing that years ago so talk about being self-conscious. I totally stepped out of the box about 12, 15 years ago to teach a Zumba class. And I am not a dancer, but, or I wasn't at the time. But so I was a little bit self-conscious when I was first teaching those classes. And when I finally, and this was years ago before meeting you, but when I finally realized that if I was to make it about them and not about me, like, that class wasn't about me, it was about helping them get fit, helping them have fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but to make it about them was really to come from a place of love and giving. And so once I did that, it just changed everything for me with those classes. They turned from being stressful for me to just being fun and having fun, and just like you said, being from a place of love.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that. You're such my teacher. Oh my God. So it really is. And it actually reminds me too. It's like the same thing for me. It's like, how can I serve this person? And so you're not thinking about yourself. And again, you're just, it's like your mind is quiet and your heart is a channel for them. Yeah, I just remember, oh, that's what it was. I would be like, okay, they're sitting in front of me. There must be something I have that I can share with them. Because if I was to start thinking about it, and I think, everybody listening, you can think about, like, if you start overthinking things, you're like, oh my God, how can I do it? Your mind can start spinning. You can kind of like get analysis paralysis a little bit, like, you just kind of freeze. But it's like exactly what you said when you shift. Okay, how can I serve? That's the other thing my mom used to tell me if I got like in a bad mood or something. She'd be like, Abby, ask how you can serve. And it gets you out of yourself and into life and into the bigger picture. And then you know what to say. You know what dance move to show them. You know exactly how to help them, and then you in turn feel good because we're all interconnected. So I love that you brought that up. Such a great point.
Yes, and the thing is that we forget the universe has our back. So when we, like you said, when we come from a place of love and to serve others,
Yeah.
we can't go wrong. The universe has our back. And the thing is, it's not like I was always on the beat. I couldn't even think of the word.
What do you
There
think
were
of
times
what?
I got off beat, but you know
Oh, the
what?
beat.
When you come, yeah, when you're just
Yeah.
having fun and you're there to serve,
Yeah.
we all just had fun together. They knew I wasn't
Yeah.
I wasn't the best, but we all had fun, and that's what made it fun. Is that
Totally.
you get off beat, you just get back
Mhm.
on.
Totally. Totally. I know. It's like I play the piano and you're like, oh, and then you just got to keep going. If you stop, then you're just like, oh, just keep going with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Or sometimes I would forget, like I would forget a move.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, you know what? I don't quite remember the next move, but let's do this instead, And so, and it was fine because the point was just to keep moving and just to enjoy the music
Yeah.
and get fit while doing it. So
Yeah. I love it.
hopefully there's no Zumba instructors listening. They're probably going, no.
That's so awesome. Well, what do you think is another key to being able to really connect in with your intuition and trust that it's your intuition that you're hearing, not your fear? Because I think fear and our emotions are our guide, right? So it's like if something doesn't feel right, it's not right. And so our intuition is, moving through our feelings, saying, probably not that. And then moving us to this place of knowing in our center and then making those choices from that place of being centered. But I'm wondering if there's any examples or ways you have of I just see two crossroads, right? Like choosing love or fear, intuition or ego, like kind of that ability to discern and really be the intuitive you that you are.
So that, and again, this is another thing that I had struggled with for years because I feel like the universe was giving me symbols and so often, and I put up my wall because I didn't my ego didn't believe that that was the best path for me.
Right.
So I would ignore it. I would ignore it, and even though I'd keep getting signs and signs and signs, I would ignore it, and then it would eventually that opportunity would go away. And looking back in hindsight, I can realize now that that probably should have been something that I should have probably attempted or looked into. And so one thing that I noticed is that if I keep getting symbols of something, to really pay attention to it, and it may not necessarily mean to do it, but it means that I need to give it attention and sit with it and try to find out or figure out. And I do this through my inner guidance, my intuition. What does this mean? Why does this keep showing up in your life? Mm-hmm. And so that is one thing that I've started doing is if something keeps popping up, whether it's a picture of something, a song, something in my email notifications keeps popping up and I keep ignoring it. At some point I have to say to myself, okay, the universe is really trying to give you something here and you need to take a look at it. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to use it, but you need to acknowledge it because I'm really good, or I was good at hiding and avoiding things. So that I'd say is one of the biggest things. And then if I have a choice to make and if it's just automatically feels yucky to me. Like, and I know what you're asking. Like, there is a difference between just like a normal fear of stepping out of the box, but an actual feeling of, oh, this just doesn't feel good. So when something just doesn't feel good or doesn't feel right, to me, that's a no. Like, I shouldn't follow that path. But if something is kind of exciting, but I'm scared to do it, but yet it's exciting, that's more of a yes.
Yeah.
Like, the universe is giving you this gift, this opportunity. And I think probably the best example of that is this Radiance Health Summit that I did, because I was scared to do it.
Yeah.
But it was exciting, and I felt like, gosh, I could serve people. I could, maybe support people in their radiant health from the inside out. So there was that fear of stepping out of my comfort zone, but it was exciting to think about, and it was fun to think about. So that was a yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I make that determination. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, I'm wondering, how can people get access to that summit? Is it still available, or can they purchase it so they can get some of the interviews?
Yes, yes, it's still available for purchase. They can get a hold of me. Probably the easiest way would be through my email,
Okay.
and which is Lori Wachob, spelled. I think the viewers can see my name.
Yep.
LauriWachob, as in boy, @gmail.com. And if you want to just email me, that would probably be the easiest way. I do have a page that they could go to, but if you want to email me, I'm happy to give you that link.
Yeah, there was a lot of great speakers and just, insight and wisdom on it. So super helpful. And really, if you want to share more about, how glowing from the inside out, connecting with your intuition that knows and embodying that has created that inner glow for you. So I'd love for you to kind of share about that in your clients, how that glow just kind of comes out because people feel amazing.
Well, I thank you. I do think that when you create that health inside, it does radiate out, and it does show on just in your emotions, and it shows with your skin. And if you're healthy inside, you're not self-sabotaging, so you're eating food that's good for you, and and that food is going to show on your skin. So again, I really feel like a lot of it, and the big foundation of radiant health starts with that belief in yourself and trusting yourself. And just, I have an example of that. I noticed with my son yesterday. He, when he's playing on a team that's his age group, he just goes out there and he goes for it, and he's there's no fear. But I noticed when he plays on a team that's a little older than him, he's more tentative, and he's more like, he doesn't go full out. And that's that lack of trusting in yourself and just believing that you're just knowing that you can do it, because you already know it. It's already there. And so I'm going to actually work with him on that, whether he knows it or not. but that I was sitting there watching, and and he can do it. He just needs to trust himself. So, and that's what I work with clients on. Just really learning to trust themselves, guiding them through trusting themselves, trusting their inner guidance system, and working through the blocks to help them get to that belief in themselves.
And taking the action on it. The other thing I was thinking is, like, beyond what anybody else is telling you or saying, or other people's opinions, to actually be honest with yourself and how you feel about something. Not what you think you should feel or should do, but like, actually, I really feel this about this. And my intuition actually feels this, like the example pops in, like when I left the scholarship for school, the dean was like, "Are you crazy? You're leaving?" And I was like, "Well, maybe, but I'm going because I know it's right." And I'm so glad I did. So an example of like somebody may not agree with what your inner guidance is, but if you know that you know, I mean, I started serving clients in an office, I think like 6 months later, like, so, and was, on my purpose. So it doesn't matter what other people are saying. It's more like, I use the word you probably remember, like resonate. Does it resonate? Like what somebody's saying to me, does it resonate? Does it feel right? Is it a green light for me or not? Because I don't actually have to accept somebody's opinion or thought, which can be really empowering, because a lot of negative beliefs were moments that people felt disconnected from love and said something, and that had a negative emotion attached with it, and that created the belief, the negative belief, which is the block. So actually in your own intuition and knowing, which we've given you the activation and access to, is, oh, is that true? Actually, my intuition says it's not true what they said. I don't need to believe that. And then you can ask your intuition, what is true? And it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. Sure. And like sports is a great example. I'm an athlete as well. It's like, yeah, I can do this. Like, and I better just start running, because if I think about it, you might stop. So it's like with your son, it's like, just again, the action and the knowing, and in moving into the truth within you. So nothing has power over you. And one of my dear, dear friends, she was like my childhood second mom. Her name is Darla. She's just pure love. And she just instantly died like 2 days ago. And so I have just been processing that, and it's just been really intense. But she came to me like 2 nights ago, and her spirit just said, Abby, forgiveness. Like, it's everything. Once it's done, it's done. The past is the past. And she even told me that, when she was alive, is it's like truly anything that anybody's ever told you, anything that's ever happened to any of us is done. And so in the moment, there's just pure forgiveness, because when you're in the pure light, there's nothing else. That's it. It's just love. So if you're carrying anything, and this was like for me, I'm just sharing it with anybody that it serves. Like if you're carrying anything, any unforgiveness or bitterness, is actually just hurting you, because in the light, it's already gone. And that moment's already gone too. So the beautiful thing with the NLP stuff that we do as part of the intuitive success coaching process is you shift those beliefs, so you don't have to carry that negativity or the unforgiveness of what somebody might have done to you when they were disconnected from love, or felt disconnected from love. You can reprogram your mind, and Lori's so good at this, with a new thought and a new emotion, where your brain and your nervous system now accepts that you're okay, and you don't have to carry the past. You don't have to carry what happened. You can truly be in that place of pure forgiveness, and then creation from the light of, oh my God, every day truly is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. What do I want to create in this moment from love? And then like open and watch and experience life, see what comes to you, and decide, oh, I want to create this, I want to create that. And then the universe, like you said, has your back, will like rush in with like support and guidance and people and circumstances and events, be like, okay, I got you, let's go,
Yeah,
So.
that is so true. And I feel like when you keep ignoring what the universe wants to give you, it's eventually going to take it away. So because you're telling it, I'm not worth it, or I don't believe I can do it, I don't want it. So law of attraction, then that's what it's going to give you back. And so it is so important for us to really be in tune with our intuition and aligned with the universe. And so much of what you just said is so important. And here's an example of just staying in your heart. Like there was some things I was going to add on, and you and I have talked, and I have a bit of a memory problem, and that is something that always does concern me when I go live, because I worry, am I going to forget, But the thing is like just being in your heart, it's okay to forget. You just kind of let it go, because that whatever you're supposed to say, or whatever anyone needs to hear, is going to come out anyhow. So I think I was just sitting here thinking about that when, like, what I wanted to add on, and I realized, oh, I think I don't quite remember, but that's okay. It's okay, because if you just trust yourself, and then you're fine. Just trust.
Yeah. I mean, I have clients call me, Abby, remember when you said, and I'm like, did I? Because it's like I'm just in the channel flow. So you don't have to remember everything. Just trust. Yeah, you'll always remember what you need to know. That's what I used to say.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And the right, what people need to hear, it will come out. It will come out.
And I think just, listening to yourselves, for everybody listening, like what you might even want to write down, what do I already know that's true? What do I need to know? And what do I need to take action on?
Yeah, that's very good. And one I also like is, what are you pretending not to know?
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Because it's true that we know,
Yeah,
but it's easy. Sometimes it's easier to pretend like we don't know.
I agree.
But then that is debilitating us and holding us back from being our true selves. And so getting through those blocks that keep us from acknowledging our truth, our true selves, is so important.
I love
that. To radiant health.
Yeah, I love that, because you're honest with yourself and everybody else, and you're glowing. And so
yeah, I had a deep conversation with somebody the other day, and she was holding a secret in about something, and I just shared with her that holding that in and living your life with a secret it adds so much stress and unnecessary stress and illness. It can, I do believe that our emotional state and dysfunction can manifest itself into physical illnesses. So I shared that with her, and that the holding your truth in is actually harming, can be harmful to you. And the truth, really, I mean, it's cheesy, I guess, but it's true. The truth can set you free. And so we had this pretty deep conversation about it. And I'm not sure what she'll do with that information, but it just seeing her struggle, knowing that, so I guess my point is that being our true authentic self is going to help us get to that radiant health that we're looking for from the inside out, so that we can glow and just live that life that we are meant to live.
I love that. So authentic self, really to me, that means being yourself, having the courage to speak your truth, to share how you feel, to admit to yourself how you feel. If you don't feel right about something, that's okay, and if you do, that's also okay. The other thing I wanted to mention before I forget, I remember when I first started the intuitive success coaching classes in person, we did this video. We interviewed one of the students, and it was on, is it safe? Actually, I think they interviewed me. Is it safe to follow your intuition? And as you're talking, I'm like, I want to remind everybody that that's the safest thing you can follow, because it's based in love. So, when you understand that your intuition at a practical level, I mean, there's like 500 million cells in your gut alone. So it's intelligence. There's so many more cells there. Like, it has such a higher intelligence than your mind can even comprehend. So that's the practical level. Then on like the spiritual level, it's your soul and body, which is pure love. So when you bring those together as your inner compass, what better guide? It's like your best friend. And so to learn how to listen to its subtle cues. So we've talked about feelings, listening to feelings. The other piece is your body. So your body will actually tell you. You'll feel it. Like you'll get a sense of peace, but also your body I'll get jabs if something isn't right, like physical jabs, or, an expansion of the yeses, your heart will feel light, your shoulders will lift, and you'll notice if you or somebody else walks into a room, what does your body do? Like, does it open and lift and want to be closer? Does it lean in or does it move away? Right. So it's constantly, our body's constantly moving. I notice, even in conversation, sometimes if I'm feeling uncomfortable, like I'll physically move, my body will just start to move away, right? And it's like, it just knows it's being moved. So listen to your feelings, listen to your body, and let them come into harmony with love and realize they're all working for you. So I think you made such a beautiful point of like stuffing things, stuffing things in a bag. Oh, I feel this, but I don't really want to feel or really know what's actually true there. So I'm pretending to like not let that bother me when it really does, and then it's like you let the cat out of the bag and you're like, actually, it's like, okay, let's play with the cat and figure it out.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Because that cat will eventually come out of the bag.
Exactly. Right.
And whether it's, and that could be through anything. And it could be, through illness. It could be through just irritability, resentment, all sorts of different ways it can manifest.
Yeah, totally. So again, trusting yourself that, we had Misty on a couple weeks ago, and it's like you being yourself is the answer, right? Like that is you. So just giving yourself permission to be you. And the biggest way you can do that is let go of judgment of yourself and other people judging you, and as you know, Lori, like the foundation of this process is unconditional love and non-judgment. And it's like, I have to remind myself that because I realize that's where the freedom is not being judged. It's like I had a partner at one time that was my business manager, and he never judged me. It was like this pure love. And it's like, no wonder I could just open up. And I ironically had that for my clients. So it's funny, I manifested it in partnership and then I would give it to the world. But that's like the foundation is that unconditional love, and non-judgment that just moves us into that place of, oh, I can trust myself because I am the divine. I am that moving through. And so as I connect with my heart, to place your hand on your heart, your other hand on your gut, and I listen, I'm moved with this knowing that I am okay because I'm trusting my intuition. I'm being guided by something higher, moving in and through me. And of course, that's going to grow my business because it's serving people. I know how to now connect with them. Like you brought up an amazing key point about doing what is best for them. So you're teaching, you're coaching, you're like, what is best for them? And you can always ask yourself, when you're making a choice, is this loving for me and this person and, everybody involved? And then when you get a yes, it's right. And you can
yes.
try that.
That is so true. And I think like what you spoke about earlier is just so important to make our choices for us and not necessarily what society, we believe society expects of us. So definitely that. And that, that happens with like boundaries and balancing the emotional and physical body. It's so important to be true to ourselves. Yeah. And when we can be true to ourselves, then we can be authentic and true to others, and we can serve better and love better and be present better. And then what you were talking about in like judging and not being judged by others and manifesting that, I believe too that we, like if we're, if we come from a place of love and goodness and, in a servant mentality and we're vibrating up here, that's who we are going to attract to us.
Yeah.
Those who are also vibrating, up here. But if we come from a place of fear or judgment or, anything like that, we're vibrating lower, and that's the circumstances and the people that we are going to continue attracting to us at that lower vibration.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I'm thinking, have you ever noticed like when you come from that place of goodness and love, it always comes back to you, maybe not from that person, but in another way, because you're just in that higher frequency.
Yes.
So I love that. I remember I found like $20 on the ground one time. I mean, it's just so funny. Like that was a sign about like moving too. I mean, it's just funny, go ahead.
It is. I agree. Like the universe is going to give back to you what you put out there. It really is. And so and and it's so, the universe is so abundant.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something I used to deal with, is a fear of scarcity.
Mm.
And once I got past that, and that was from just stories in my head, like we were talking about, the beliefs that are in our head, and they create these stories. So anyhow, once I worked past that block, just abundance is all around us all the time, and that has made a huge
Yeah.
difference for me as well. Just believing in that,
And seeing,
trusting that abundance, it's always
yeah,
going to be there.
yeah, seeing it, yeah, seeing it, noticing it, and like you said, being grateful for it. It's all around you, and then accepting it, and not being
Yes.
afraid to give.
Yeah,
Sure.
I agree.
Speaking of, if you guys would like to give to our nonprofit, so we're working with the kiddos over in Ecuador, those of you that know about them. So they have about 6 months. Basically, we help them keep their current building, and now it sounds like they need a new one. So bottom line is they need funds. So if you feel guided, you can go to www.oneheartglobal.co/mission. And what I'm doing is we have some cool sponsorship opportunities opening. So when you donate a program, one of the intuitive success coaching programs to the kids, I actually gift you yours. So if you feel guided to do that, just let me know. You can send an email to abby@lifeforceconnection.com, and we can talk about how that works. So Lori, is there anything else, any other information you want to share, ways that people can connect with you, anything else?
Thank you, Abby. Let's see. I think just if anybody is interested in that Radiant Health Summit, we had 20 amazing speakers that talked about, oh goodness, anything from nutrition to relationships, just mindset, imposter syndrome, intuition, of course. Abby is one of our guest speakers. And so it was, yeah, I was so just loved the summit, and I loved all the speakers so much. So you can email me at loriwalkup@gmail.com, or if you're interested in a free session on radiant health, just talking to me about what is keeping you from creating your radiant health and the life that you want. We can just a free, 15-minute session, just talk it out. Again, at loriwalkup@gmail.com. And yes, or skincare. I also believe in confidence. It is a part of what brings us that inner strength, and that which ultimately comes out in radiant health. And I think, it's wonderful if you feel confident in your skin. We should all feel confident in our skin. We should. But sometimes if we're suffering from, different things like, acne or red, irritated skin, if we're, aging faster than we should because of perhaps habits that we had in our past, we don't want to erase the lines. That's our history. That's our story. That shows our experiences. But we can enhance what we already have, and when we do that, it gives us that self-confidence. So I'm also here for you if you need any help with skincare.
She's my skincare consultant, and I love her. She's amazing.
Oh.
So, yeah, so awesome. Other thing I thought, Laura, is you did a workshop a while back, and people can get the recording of that if you want to share that, or also if you have a website. But I don't remember the title of it, but it was so amazing because I watched it. If you want to share where they can get access to that free workshop, and also your website if you have it.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So again, probably the best way is at this point is to just email me at loriwalkup@gmail.com. And I will, if you're interested, it's a Radiant Health workshop. And it's just kind of some 3 steps that I take to help me on a daily basis with radiant health and just keeping that inner glow. So I'm happy to send you that workshop if you're interested.
So amazing. And is there a website that you have? I don't remember if there's a link or a website that they can just go a little bit, like read more about you at.
Yes, I have a bio page, and it's Lori Walkup, onenessmoments.com/bio.
I knew it. As I got
You're right.
No, it's amazing. So you can read more about her. And Lori, thank you so much for just being here. I so appreciate it. And I'm sorry I didn't open the chat today for any listeners asking questions, but you can send a question to either of us. I'm pretty sure Lori's okay with that. And fine. Okay, cool. And we're happy to help you out. So thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you soon. Intuitive You is on Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific. And you can always get the recording on onenesstalkradio.com. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.